Are you always tired of seeing your rent money vanish every month?
Well, buckle up, because today we're unlocking the blueprint to go from rent to riches and become a homeowner before you hit 30.
NexGen MoneyWise starts now.
Owning a home can be quite intimidating.
That's right. Here at MoneyWise, we're committed to help you take the first steps towards owning your first home.
Let's talk facts. Rent doesn't build equity, but home ownership, it's a foundation for generational wealth. And no, it's not just a dream, it's a strategy.
Exactly. It's not just about buying a house, it's about building a future. And today we're giving you the steps to make that happen, even on a tight budget.
You know we had to take it to the streets. So we sent our MoneyWise NexGen, Danger Harrison, to find out what folks think. Is it possible to own a home before 30? And why? Or why not?
Hey guys, it's your girl Danger, and today we're in the streets of New Kingston because we want to ask our hard-working Jamaicans, is it possible to own a home before 30? Let's see what they're gonna say. Do you think it's possible to own a home before 30?
Yes, it's possible.
It's possible? How is it possible?
I mean, you just have to make the right decisions. I think you need a mentor as well, someone who can look out for you, financial advice and stuff like that.
So once you have the mentor and the financial advice, you're saying that make your own a home before 30?
If you make the right decisions and you're in the right spaces, yes.
So what would you say to a young person right now who does not agree with you in any way and them don't have no hope at all as it relates to owning a home before 30? What would you say to them?
I'm not sure what I would say. I'm not sure what I would say,
Give them
honestly.
little motivation. Since you say it's possible, give them little motivation.
Just keep trying. Speak with someone. I'm sure there's someone out there who can speak with you and help you.
And I love that I love the fact that you say speak with someone, because we don't know everything, no?
We don't know everything.
So we have to see the help.
No, before 30 we're still too young.
We're still too young and fool. We need assistance. You heard it here.
Yeah, we need assistance.
All right, so this is a gift from the credit union family. Do you think it's possible to own a home before 30?
Well, I don't really think so. It all depends on the type of job you're in, that if you're receiving enough income, because you know the houses are not cheap. It's not cheap. Even if you're in the NHT, whatever they're giving you, it's still not enough for you to purchase a 2-bedroom house for most families.
You said the type of job you're in. Tell me what is the ideal job, or give me an idea of the income bracket of what would help you to get a home before 30.
Let me see. Probably a job that's paying, probably I don't know, like 100 a month or more. You know, something where you can try to save out of. You're gonna need money, you know, in your savings, different from what you're doing with NHG, because as I said before, it won't be enough.
So you're safe towards your house right now, because you don't look like you touch 30 yet, you know?
No, I'm just 21 and I'm saving.
You're saving? So tell me what ways, what are things that you're doing to save towards the home?
All right, so I'm working and I put aside something, you know. You can find other ways to save, like you're going partners, you know, when you get it, you put down a little out of it in your bank. Yeah. Or if you want to add it under your mattress, because some people rather that. But yeah, that's what I do.
All right.
Save some.
You know a realtor, you can talk to them. They will send you like a list with some steps that you can follow, and you know they will probably bring you into their office and you can talk to them and get some more information and you know be more knowledgeable about getting yourself a home.
Yes, be more knowledgeable. Do you think that young people who are not yet 30, you think we know much about home ownership?
No, I don't think so, no.
All we are saying is rat bat in charge when a business about owning a home.
Not necessarily, no. It's everyone's dream to have their own house.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes we really don't know.
Do you think it's possible to own a home before 30?
Yes, it's possible. But you know, you have to have the godmother and the godfather in your pocket.
When you say godmother or godfather, what you mean?
You there about the gold spoon, I have some relative who can lend a helping hand. But we can't do it by your own if I you want.
But then the regular Jamaican is not in a situation like that. So do you think the regular Jamaican who probably don't born with a gold spoon and have like a rich auntie or rich uncle, do you think that they can own a home before 30?
No, it depends, and it depends like if it depends on the job you're in. Because you know, say it depends on your salary. Because I know that the rent mortgage go for your age. So if you get a good salary for a good job, it's possible. If not, your parents will tell you the age.
Can you own a home before 30? Based on the responses, I think our Jamaican people are very hopeful. If you want more information on what we discussed today, remember that you can always visit a credit union in your neighboring community.
Some very interesting responses.
We've heard what the streets are saying. Now, let's bring the spotlight to someone who didn't just talk about it. She made the move to own her first home.
That's right. Joining us now is PR practitioner and proud homeowner, Brittany Clark. Brittany, welcome to NexGen MoneyWise.
Thank you. Hello, Vaughn. Hello, Tony. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Right. So, what inspired you to start your home ownership journey before 30?
All right. So, coming from a very ambitious family, I realized that it's always been on my list of aspirations to be a homeowner. I grew up in a home that was owned by my parents. My mom is now on the journey of, having her second home. And for me, it's always been something that I feel like I need to accomplish just to feel proud in myself and to know that, okay, these are things that will set me up for a good, successful financial future. So home ownership was a part of that journey.
Interesting. And I know it must have taken a lot of planning to get you there. So can you walk us through your budgeting process, how you managed to achieve all that?
All right. So before I actually got to the point of purchasing the home, I had to start 2 years before that and start to think seriously about planning. So to tell you a little about the story, I've been with my mom all my life, so I've never actually lived on my own in terms of renting. But at that time in 2022, I was thinking, okay, maybe it's time for me to have my own space and do my own thing. When I went on the streets and looked at the rent prices,
Crazy.
Yeah. So I was thinking now, rather than investing or rather than paying that money in rent, how about I change course and start to think about investing in something that will give me some equity, build my financial future, probably even set me up for success in the future if I am to resell or go into renting and things like that. So for me, home ownership seemed like the best bet. Yeah.
All right. So the rent got you.
Yeah.
Right? So how did you decide between buying land, buying a home, or just purchasing a already made home?
Okay, so I had to do a lot of research first, and one of the things I utilized was a calculator, which was a rent versus mortgage calculator, which showed you the value of renting long term versus having a mortgage long term. It's on a website called Financial Sensibility, and through that and reading up and doing the research, I realized that in the long term, mortgage and having a mortgage would have been more beneficial for me. So in doing that research and going behind the scenes and realizing that, okay, I have to have a solid budget, I made note of all my expenses upfront. What are the mandatory things that I need to pay for, and then how will I fit this into having a rent versus having a mortgage? And once I crunched the numbers and did the plan, I realized that the mortgage would be beneficial long term. Despite it being a bigger upfront investment, it's definitely a better long term investment.
Awesome. So you did this before the age of 30.
Yes.
So there must have been some mishaps. Were there any mistakes, and what did you learn from that?
Okay, so one of the things people really don't think about is the fact that owning a home is not just about the deposit. So the deposit is step one. Saving up that money for the deposit is important, but there are a lot of hidden fees that people don't talk about. So the legal fees, valuation costs, the setting up of your utilities, there's actually a cost that you have to pay upfront for that, and then the closing cost, which was a huge chunk, which came out of the overall costing. So they always say that you should try to save anywhere between 5 to 10%. I would say try try to push to 15 if you have the resources, because there are things that will always come up. And then for me, I didn't want to be one of the persons who moved in and slept on the cold floor, so I had to budget for furniture. I had to budget for, you know, any cosmetic changes, because I decided to go the route of a fixer-upper rather than new development because of cost. And for me, it just really, you have to think about all the other additional things that will come with it. And then don't just look at what your mortgage payment will be, because you will have things such as what you call it now, property taxes, right? You have home insurance, peril insurance, which covers the cost of your home in terms of fire damages, earthquake, things like that. So there's more to it than just thinking about the mortgage, and anything can happen when you are a homeowner. So you do have to have a little buffer. You can't use the last of your paycheck, yes, to pay for your mortgage and whatever, because you will be in an uncomfortable position in the long term.
True. So I heard you mention your mother is on the verge of getting another home, right? But I want to know, because you're still so young.
Yes.
What role did your family, mentors, or advisors, how did they help you in the decision-making process?
Yes, well, I have to firstly say that my mom was instrumental in the process, having gone through it herself. But again, the climate is different because the prices are a lot higher. It's a lot more competitive because the houses on the market are going really quickly, and then what's available is probably out of budget. So she was very instrumental in helping me to not only think about the costs and think about why it's important to even think about owning a home, but she also helped me in the search, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have found this home as well. So, you know, having her assist me with asking around, you know, anywhere selling, you know, where can we look? When I brought her on a lot of the house visits as well, the site visits I did, so she was just there through and through all the way. I also had an excellent agent at the bank that I worked with, and for that option, I believe that, you know, having a good advisor, so whether it's through the credit union, having a great advisor to guide you through the process, not just to sell you a product, oh, buy a mortgage, no, but to understand that this is an investment, what it means, long-term investment, and why it's important to really think about the bigger picture and not just, you know, oh, I want a house.
And a house is a big investment. So how did you handle the doubts of a long-term commitment? Overall, how did you balance that?
Yeah, it was very scary. Let's start there. Very scary to think about, because, you know, the typical mortgage is anywhere between 30, 35 years. I don't intend to be paying it that long, right? But at the end of the day, you do have to think about the fact that you are locking yourself into a long-term financial commitment and responsibility. So without proper planning, you're going to set yourself up for failure. You don't want to hear down the road that you'll have to foreclose or you'll have to sell to get money to recover losses. So you really have to think and plan accordingly. And for me, I'm a planner, so it was really important for me to do my budgeting and all of that. But at the end of the day, don't think you know everything. Don't be afraid to ask for advice, and don't be afraid to keep in touch with people who have been through the process. So I lived on YouTube. Demetrius, big him up, he gave a lot of advice and spoke about a lot of different opportunities that you can do, why it's important, why renting may be beneficial versus mortgage. And it's just important to do as much research as possible before you enter into this kind of arrangement.
And speaking of which, what was the hardest part of the process for you, and how did you overcome it?
The waiting. Listen, you see, once I found the home, so the process itself was, you know, difficult to find the home. So that was the first challenge, finding somewhere that was suitable, that was within budget. But once I got to the point of, okay, I found something, I'm going to sign the documents now and wait. The waiting, I was very impatient because it felt like my process was relatively fast, to be honest. It was about 4 or 5 months, but it felt like the longest 4 to 5 months of my life.
But you know, you have persons who are waiting for 2 years.
2 years, right? So I'm grateful that it went through so quickly. And again, I give kudos to my team, who was their legal team at the financial institution. But it was the longest 4 months of my life. And I don't know why I was so eager to want to pay a mortgage. But it was really just the excitement of, you know, wanting this to work out, wanting nothing to go wrong, and just, you know, really just turning the keys and going into my first home. So that was really... yeah, that was really
and it worked out.
It worked out.
Okay, so how did you find a good real estate agent?
Referral. So I actually didn't use real estate. So I didn't actually go through a realtor. I went through the open market by looking through the classifieds. And in looking through the classifieds and also asking around, I was able to hear of places that weren't necessarily through the real estate agent, but they were available, and I was able to negotiate a little more. So, you know, real estate agents always great to have, but of course, don't be afraid to use other alternatives as well. And for me, it was really the opportunity to know be able to experiment in terms of looking at the different options, weighing the pros and cons, and figuring out what would work best for me.
And you said you went with a fixer-upper.
Right,
Was that always your first choice, or what happened in that decision-making process?
Yes, so I like a pre-loved home because I feel like it's lived in. It tends to be set up in a way that it's a little more flexible to make adjustments based on how the persons who lived it, they live in it, they know how it works, they know how it functions, so they've designed it accordingly. So a fixer-upper has always been one of my options. It was either a new development or a fixer-upper, and the fixer-upper, you know, that's what came about, and it was really exciting to have a space that I could, you know, live in for the time being, and then eventually I can make adjustments in the long term.
Okay. Exciting stuff. I would be excited for that.
Okay, so I think one thing that we can all relate to is that when you're young, you're going to want to spend, but you have a mortgage. Yes. And after your 4 months, you were eager to pay it. Were there any sacrifices that you had to put aside to cover this?
Yes, actually, there were a lot of sacrifices I had to make. I actually didn't go out for a year. Ooh. And my friends cussed me. I said, oh, we can't see on the road. I said, guys, I'm working on something. Just give me some time.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process. So for me, it was really just understanding what's at stake, rather. So what I needed to do to ensure I got to my goal. So I set a very rigid budget based on what I was earning and any additional income that was coming in. I made sure that I paid all my bills that needed to be paid, and then I gave myself a very tight margin of what else I could spend, and everything else went into savings. And I did that for almost 2 years, because it was just heavy push money into savings, and I used a high yield savings account, which was beneficial in terms of the interest. And after the 2.5 year mark, I had enough to cover the expenses of the deposit, all the additional fees and closing costs, and some furniture, so I didn't move in on the floor.
Awesome. So your final tip that I need, right?
Yes.
The big thing, the main advice that you have.
Yes. Well, for me, I would love to say that it's always important to do your research and don't feel as if time is running out on you. There will always be an opportunity for you to own. It's just that you have to do the financial planning to ensure that you are in a good position. So for example, if rent works out for you, if you're somebody whose lifestyle is a little more flexible, you like to move around, then rent may be a better long-term investment for you. However, if you're somebody like me who kind of values the stability, being able to make my own decisions for my properties, then I believe that, you know, you can think about the route of mortgage, but proper financial planning is key. So budgeting, knowing where you have to cut back, knowing where you need to earn more, because sometimes there's really no opportunity to cut back with how the economy is going. But at the end of the day, it's always a great thing to think about home ownership. So at the end of the day, I would always encourage persons just to do the right thing, get the research, do the planning, and take the leap towards home ownership.
Okay, Brittany, thank you so much for sharing your inspiring journey with us here today on this episode of NexGen MoneyWise.
And remember, your path to home ownership can start today. Visit your local credit union and take that first step toward owning your future.
Now, we can't leave our NexGen MoneyWise online family out. Name 3 tips Brittany shared about how she got started in her home ownership journey.
Please share your answers in the chat, and one lucky winner will be rewarded.
That's right. The only way you can be eligible for the prizes we are giving is if you follow us on our socials, Credit Unions JA. So like, follow, and subscribe. Here is our money tip for this week, powered by Portland Cooperative Credit Union. Automate your savings for your down payment. Aim to put aside 20% of rent for that future mortgage if you plan to own.
All right, and this is where we leave you for today's show. Until next time, I am Tony Ann.
And I'm Vaughn.
Bye.